Hello everybody. Today I am bringing you a tale of three stones. Here's stone number 1 and stone number 2 and stone number 3. Actually, this stone has been the bane of my existence. It's really not a hard stone at all to make, but it has done me in. So I'm giving you the easy version of it. And if you just follow along with what I have on the screen, measurements and all, you're going to find this really, really easy to do. But I had stones in my lap. I had stones on the floor. So I ended up making 3. But today I'm going to bring you stone number 2, which is the one with the little holly. And it's very festive looking. It's very Christmassy looking. So we started out with a 3-inch stone and midnight blue metallic paint. I'm using, the center dot was, I think it was a 9mm, and I'm using just plain white paint. The second row was 4mm and then a 5mm. So the entire top on all 3 of these stones is fairly identical, just a few little minor changes, differences. So this first row of walking the dots, it's going to be the same thing all the way around. And I'm making the top middle dot there a little bit thicker. So as you're going along, if you originally put down a large dot, you won't have to, go back and make it bigger like I just did. And now I'm just doing the second row, just exactly like I did the first row. And then after this, we're just going to do a whole series of some little swishes. Now the swishes are going to be just little small swishes. None of them are going to be even. I don't want you to be upset or worried about them. Just go ahead and do them. Oop, I just made a mess. Okay, so just go ahead. You're going to do 3 sets inside and then 1 down the middle. It's going to get a little bit tight, so don't worry about trying to fit them in. Just put them in wherever you can. So anyhow, what happened was I had plans of doing 1 stone originally, and then I had a problem. My video stopped taping and was pretty far along, and I said, well, I'm just going to make another stone and tape that part, and then I'll continue from that point on. I'll actually show you the 2 stones in a bit. And then I had a couple of little accidents, and then next thing I know, I'm working on a 3rd stone. So then that's when I decided I was going to do 3 stones, three patterns. All of them have the same exact top. So this white part that we're doing right now, all 3 stones have the same beginning. So before I go on, I want you to know that this next go around here, you want to make sure that you have an even number of dots. Okay, so when you're counting, just make sure that you come up with an even number, because that's going to come into the pattern. So anyhow, long story short, I ended up with 3 different versions of this stone as I'm going along. And when it came time to edit, I had several pieces of video, with each of them carrying different pieces of the different stones. And trying to make sense of it was just insane. Oh, I want you to notice here that I'm doing an every other white dot in between the row above. And that's why it was important to have an even number. Okay, so then after trying for so long to get this video edited, I just threw my hands up and I said, I'm just doing the 1, and I put the rest aside. I did finish them, and I put them at the end with the edges showing. So if you want to go ahead and make them, you can just follow the beginning part of this video to do the top. And then when it comes to doing the edge, you can just put the video on pause and follow the sequence of dots just by looking at the pictures. It's very, very easy. All right, so back to this one. So far you've seen what I've been doing. You're just going to use the tools that are going to fit you. At one point here, I don't know if I've already done it or not, but yeah, here I had done the middle dot there with a large tool, and then when I went to go walk down, I realized that that same tool was going to be too clunky and paint was going to bleed into one another. So I went around with the larger tool and I just did the big dots, and then I came back with the smaller tool and filled in the smaller dots, as you can see here. So this here I am dotting over the white. I'm using the metallic pearl, and I do that all the time. Those of you that have heard and seen my other videos, you know that I do that quite often, mainly because if I just put the pearl on a darker color like this, the color bleeds through sometimes. So I like to put a white base, and then that leaves me the option of going back and putting the pearl on top. Now a lot of this pearl up here is going to be embellished with hologram. So I have red glitter paint that I'll be using on the red dots, and I don't have green glitter paint, so I use hologram, which actually has a greenish tinge to it, so it picks up nicely. I use it on white all the time. So most of this stone is embellished with the white pearl, and on top of the white pearl is the hologram. The only exception is the 5mm, the third row, the one with the red dot on it. It's that first row there. I just left the plain pearl. So I think now is a good time to remind you and ask you, if you haven't already subscribed, to reach down, hit that little subscribe button, hit the bell so you can be notified when I put out another video, and give me a thumbs up. If you want to share my videos to someone else, I'd really appreciate that too. I know I look at my statistics, and statistically, like 8 or 9% of my viewers are subscribed. So that means like 90 to 92% aren't subscribed. But I'd really like to have you be part of my little painting family. So please hit that subscribe button and join the group, because I really enjoyed doing this for you. On the left is the one that I had finished without benefit of being videotaped, and the one on the right that I just put away was the one we just did together. And now I'm going to go back to the original one. I'm embellishing the top of this, and you can see that I've sponged white around the edge. Now that is give the impression of some snow. I'll get to that part in a minute, but right now I'm just doing a little embellishment on the top, putting a little color, and then moving on. I'm putting a hologram on here. Put hologram wherever you like. I eventually end up putting hologram on pretty much every white dot on this stone, and the swishes. They all have hologram on them, with the exception of that first row, okay? The outer row of dots there. And you'll see sometimes when I'm going over the swishes there with the hologram, you'll see that I jump around a bit. That's because if you have a lot of paint, a lot of glitter or paint or anything on your tool, and you're going from a large area to a small area, it can get messy. So I'll just skip around so I can use up the paint or the glitter as I need to. That red dot that I have in the middle center there, that's going to go at the end. I'm going to scrape all of that off. So if you don't want to put that, you don't have to. I have put in between now when I did that outer ring there, you want to make sure that you have an even number of dots there. That way there you can do an every other, like you saw the first time I did every other with the white, and then every other with the red, and then in between with the silver. The silver will dry kind of clear. It'll have a little bit of sparkle to it. And I'm also going to put a small dot of the silver glitter paint right underneath the red. Here we are. Now I'm finishing up with the dabbing and sponging of the white. And I'm actually going to come back a little bit later and add a little bit more to that. But right now, this is something that I do for myself all the time. I have this white ceramic tile, and I wanted to try making a bunch of little holly leaves. Actually, I've done this before, but I hadn't done them in a while. I started just making the little holly, and I still had my video running, and then I thought, well, why not? I'll just add it to this video and show you. So as you can see, it's really not hard, just a bunch of little squiggles. And none of them are even. They are nature, and nature is not perfect. Okay, so I'm going to show you here easy in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 step how I make my holly leaves. So this is step number 1. and then 1 and 2, and then 1, 2, 3. I'm going to make that a little bit darker. Okay, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then finally the last one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 6. And then just fill it in. So each little diagram there is just another step. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Fill it in and go on to your next one. And so I've made a whole bunch of them here. You can see I was just playing around. And now I'm putting the little holly berries on there. And I just put like one large dot and then 2 little dots on either side or wherever. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and we're going to put a whole little garland of holly leaves around the edge of the stone. And you can see that I'm just putting down the paint. I'm not exactly following the steps because once you know what the steps are, you don't really need to follow them. You just can kind of like drag the paint with your tool and make the holly leaf. So I'm doing them in pairs, and I have, you know, some of them are coming like from the top down, like you can see these two kind of like joined at the top and they're coming down. And I didn't do anything so specific as doing like this one's going up and down and the next one, I mean this one's going up and then the next one's going to go down. I kind of mixed it all up. I didn't really pay attention, and I don't think it really matters whatever way your holly goes. If you want to make them all going one way, all the same way, that's totally up to you. But this is my world and mine are just all over the place. So let me see, am I doing, yeah, it looks like I'm doing another up here. So this is actually mimicking the one just before it. And just make as many pairs of this going around as you need to for your stone. But anyway, we're going to put these holly leaves on here, and then we're going to just let them dry. I'm going to put berries around them. So I'm going to take my I start with a little tool here, and then I realize this is going to be very tedious. So I come back with a larger tool. See the larger side. I'm going to go all the way around, put my holly berry all the way around with the big tool. And then on the second pass around, I come back with a smaller tool and I just put the 2 little berries on the side. And just continuously go around like that. And you have your holly. Pretty easy, right? So over here now, I'm just putting some hologram on all of the leaves. And if you notice that I did not go all the way to the edge, I just kind of filled in the center part. And I left the original green bare. And so I'm doing the same thing with the red glitter paint. And you can see how pretty this is coming out. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? It really is. Now, on the stone, I'm telling you, the video is not doing it justice on the stone because in my hand, I'm looking at it here in my hand, and it's just so pretty. So I'm going to do the hologram around on the green, and then I have the red glitter paint that I'm going to put on the berries. So again, I'm going around with the large tool, putting the big berry down, and then I'm using a toothpick, and I'm just dotting on some glitter paint on the smaller berries. So that's what it looks like when it's dry. Again, not as pretty as what I'm seeing. Okay, so I'm using the white, and I'm going to do a garland now. Now the garland is, I want it to look like it's popcorn and cranberries. So I'm putting this little white dots, and I'm just kind of like putting up free flowing, however you want to connect all of your holly leaves. Now I'm coming back with the red, and I'm putting in the cranberries. Okay, so here I just wanted to put a defining row of white around the top, and I don't really have a measurement. I think on my stone it was like an inch radius. or maybe an inch and a half. I don't know. But whatever is going to fit for you so that you're not going to be overlapping your paint and you have a nice little clear area to make that round. Go ahead and lay it out. And then just little white dots all the way around and then glitter paint to highlight. I went with the red glitter paint on my cranberries and white pearl on my popcorn. Now I'm pointing at the snow and you can't really see it here, but with the little sponge tool, I added a little bit more white paint to look like snow. And I also used some white pearl to highlight the snow and then a little bit of the silver glitter paint, just kind of dabbed here and there so that it would look like glistening snow. I don't know if you can see it there. It doesn't show up so great on the video, but it came out so pretty. Here on the still shot, I think you can see that it's so sparkly how pretty it is. You can catch all of the glitter and the glimmer. Now this is where I'm taking off that top center dot. I really did not like the way that looked. I just thought it made the whole thing look cheesy. So I used an X-Acto knife and I scraped it off very, very carefully because I have cut myself many times doing this. And then I put down another center dot of white. And then when that dried, I put hologram on the white. So you see it's nice and sparkly. And then I used a large red crystal and 8 little tiny crystals around the outside. And here are the other 2 stones. So you can see the tops are all extremely similar. And you can choose whichever edge you want to do, whichever top you want to do. One of them has a little holly on the top. But I just kind of mixed it all up. And I was going to actually put all 3 videos in. This actually took me a whole long time to do for absolutely no good reason, because it's really a simple stone. So thanks for listening to my Tales of Woe and hanging out with me. I really enjoyed it. And I hope to see you again real soon. Until then, take care and bye-bye.